Kalisha, Gutierrez, and Torrey. Today. Huh? What? Also, whoa. And then,
There you go.
and my favorite, wah. Let's go around the horn.
Sit down.
Hey-o.
Solid writing.
Solid, yeah, maybe my best script ever, I think. We start with everything. That was everything. But also the nothing that was nothing. Look at Fox face, man. That was nothing and not really too much in the fight. Reaction that Floyd had, he was feisty. He was happy to have won. Manny was oddly confident. And Tyson on point with his analysis. We waited 5 years for this. Pablo Torre, our man on the scene. You were our spirit periscope, our buffet emoji. What did we witness?
We witnessed a whole bunch of cognitive dissonance. Las Vegas, the city, the sport of boxing, these are things premised on terrible decision-making and unpredictability and recklessness, and we got none of those things from Floyd Mayweather because that's not who Floyd Mayweather is. And maybe we were like Manny Pacquiao at the end of that fight. Maybe we thought, maybe the guy who initiates the action, who's chasing the other guy around the ring, maybe that guy deserved to win, but that's not what boxing is about. That's not what Floyd Mayweather does. Floyd Mayweather is about repeatedly convincing people into being so frustrated with him that they want to see him lose, and it's about him being so skillful in the ring. Outside of it's a different story, but in the ring, he is risk-averse, and all those hugs and holds and clinches, that's part of talent, too. That's part of the talent of boxing.
Fight that boxing deserved? After 5 years of waiting, Pablo.
It got the fight that boxing in the modern era deserved. It got two huge personalities coming in and then seeing their personalities being muted in terms of the actual.
Because they're going to be able to say, this fight made $350 million. This fight, GDP, bigger than 7 countries, even though they were trying to tell you it's 29, which is baloney. Israel, what did you take away? What did you witness?
Well, what we all witnessed was a 9-figure, just huge business transaction is what it was. It was two fighters who seemingly were in it for the money. And you could say it was, 5 years later, but I think in terms of styles of fights, you would have still gotten a very similar fight 5 years ago. You would have gotten a more aggressive Manny Pacquiao, sure, but you still would have gotten a better version of Mayweather even than now, which is, he did what he did. We had a clear protagonist, a clear antagonist here. We really, really wanted Manny to win. I was entertained because I was watching him try to, continue to try to break through. Never really happened. The one thing that I was concerned with that did bother me a little bit was the shoulder talk afterward. I mean, supposedly he got injured in mid-March. You've got to be able to say something in time in order to get that cortisone shot if that's going to improve.
Didn't Callis show what you witnessed?
I felt like we got two guys making a lot of money, and we found out why Manny Pacquiao has been smiling for about 2 months. He knew no one was getting knocked down and no one was getting hurt. I mean, that's a cynical approach to watching this fight. But, going in, obviously the bad guy for the whole world was the unlikable Floyd Mayweather. Coming out of the fight, for me, it's Manny because he declined to make it a fight or a battle of any kind, and there's only two possible reasons. One, his shoulder was worse than they said, and the fight should have been delayed or postponed. Or the other was that his strategy was flawed, as detailed in a brilliantly written article by Pablo Torre about Freddie Roach convincing him not to give in to temptation. Don't chase him all over the ring. That's how Floyd is going to beat you. So he did not chase. He didn't.
All right, Woody Page, what did you witness?
Well, I did not see Hagler and Hearns. I didn't see the first Duran-Leonard fight in this fight at all. If you're looking for heavyweight championships, this certainly wasn't it in the welterweight division. It was the worst fight of that kind of magnitude I've ever seen. Pacquiao wasn't taking the angles. He wasn't shutting off the ring. And we saw Mayweather, if the people are watching him for the first time, they're going, this guy is considered one of the greatest. This is the way he got there. He plays defense. It wins Super Bowls. It wins apparently 48 fights in a row. I think that you saw a fight where I'd rather have the Burger King or Jimmy Kimmel fighting against Mayweather.
Okay, but you should include the spectacle of it all, right? In your when you think of this fight, Pablo, did the spectacle at least elevate it in some way?
I mean, look, I was in line for the bathroom with Sting behind me, so to me, the circus atmosphere absolutely
inside information. That's your huge takeaway of the night, that you were like Sting in the bathroom.
I mean, this is what boxing is. It's the circus. We got the circus.
I don't know where I just went there. A tantric bathroom from Sting. Like, he's in the bathroom for 6 hours. He can just do whatever he wants.
Those fields of gold.
I don't think... All right, I think for the better of everybody, we're just going to move on here. Talk some NBA. News of the day. It leaked yesterday. Leaked. Official this afternoon, Steph Curry MVP. There was much rejoicing in Oakland. There's rankled, bearded consternation in Houston. Woody, the right choice? Curry for MVP?
Sure. Well, I totally agree with it. I looked this morning at the analyticals of the two players, Harden and Curry, and decided that when you talk about Curry playing less than 33 minutes a game and was the most efficient player in the league, I just think that you got to consider that he played less. 5 less minutes per game than Harden did, and look what he accomplished. He was the best player on the best team in the league, and he deserves it by far.
Kalishaw?
I thought Harden made a very compelling case down the stretch to get his team to second. It's not quite good enough, especially when you look at just the basic numbers. Curry shoots a phenomenal 44% from threes. Harden shoots 37. Curry much better from the field. And as Woody said, he didn't play in a lot of fourth quarters this year, or he could have led the league in scoring had he chosen to.
Israel?
Well, I voted for James Harden because I tried to separate the team accomplishment from the individual accomplishment, because the biggest argument people make on Steph Curry, and I don't think it's a wrong MVP. Now, don't get me wrong, but then you guys just made the argument that he played less. How is that the MVP argument, that he played less minutes than other people? I understand the team is better, therefore he's able to play less, but you're giving me the MVP argument because he played less. James Harden had to do more in this single season than Steph Curry did, in my opinion, but I don't think you could go wrong.
Pablo, you want to address what Israel just said there about this whole, how much did he play?
I mean, there are a lot of questions that we have unanswered. Like, what is the word valuable supposed to actually mean in this context, right? Because Steph Curry was better, but he also played less, and James Harden meant more to his team in that context. But Steph Curry, this was the year of him. This was his regular season, so I don't begrudge the MVP at all.
Anyone going to make the argument right now? It's the first of multiple for Steph Curry, that this could be the start of a run here at the MVPs.
Steve Nash can win 2. Steph Curry can win 4.
He'll win one more.
He's the new face of the NBA.
All right, now, can we finally talk Clippers Spurs? Of all the Saturdays in Saturday, the one that met and exceeded expectations. Here's a chance to wax poetic about Chris Paul, because he was incredible. And you can hot sports take on the future of the Spurs as well. But first, Kalishaw, the clock malfunctioned with a whistle before the last play. Hardly interrupted. Does the NBA need to address that, explain what happened there? Because they haven't said anything.
Yeah, they do, because they usually express things with a lot that are of lots less magnitude than that. I mean, they're running the play, the clock goes off. Now they've either got to change the play or run it again. I don't know that they could have got a good shot off and won the game, but the element of surprise of throwing the ball to Kawhi Leonard was gone. They need to explain that.
Israel?
If anybody in the league deserves an explanation, it's probably Greg Popovich, right? The best coach that we have in the game right now. That was my Hubie Brown. Also, I would say that, if he is the best coach that we have in the game, so maybe could have used the timeout there and still had another one. If the play was, sabotaged by the early whistle, then you go ahead and call it different.
Pablo?
Well, look, the NBA, to solve problems just like this, has this 2-minute report after games that's supposed to note all of these things in a very transparent manner.
But what does it mean that they didn't address that?
No mention of that. It's very curious, right? For me, if I'm an NBA fan, I'm asking, why isn't there any sort of mention of it? That only feeds into the conspiracy theories that the NBA is known for. It's very strange.
And Woody, how about you?
Not mention it.
Well, that shouldn't be overshadowing what we're going to see out of the Spurs going forward. This is the end of the big three. I don't think they'll all come back. This team has had an incredible run, and the Clippers now are the new team. They're moving forward. I think that's a significance well over whether or not the clock started prematurely.
Kalishaw, you want to address Woody just took us to the Spurs, and also Chris Paul. Can someone say Chris Paul's name here?
Well, no, I mean, the Clippers won the game, and the Spurs could have done a lot better job defending Chris Paul in that last play. He ran Danny Green off, and he got off the
Israel?
Whether or not he gets past this next round, that was as memorable a performance you could have for a guy, especially down the stretch with his hamstring injured. Chris Paul, kudos.
Pablo?
Chris Paul's first points on drives to the paint off of that game-winning.
Incredible.
That's how.
Absolutely. That was one of the. So game-changing moments, series-changing moment, but an NBA-changing moment. The Spurs now passing the guard to the Warriors and to the Clippers? Israel's not ready to go there.
Not quite.
All right. We'll see where the Spurs went after the game, maybe a little bit later in the show. Here's a break right now. Buy or sell next. Coming up, the growing possibility that nobody beats the Wiz. Big if true. That's all I'm going to say. Stick around.
I missed those stories.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Buy or sell.
36-hour turnaround. Every now and then you get a little bit tired. It catches up with you. So Atlanta's hot start, dead finish, and Washington's big deal win. You think it's more about the timing of this game one or something that portends to something more? Maybe what Bradley Beal was tweeting this morning when he said, God breaking your heart to blow your mind. Woody, what are you buying? What are you selling in this series?
Well, I'm not buying that tweet because I don't understand it, but I think this is a portend and a pretend. The Hawks, we found out, are not for real in the last series. You got the Wizard of Oz, John Wall, and I love the game he's playing, and I think the Wizards are on such a roll that they're going to go right into this series.
I'm buying that Bradley Beal and John Wall were close to being correct when they said they're going to be the best backcourt in the NBA last summer. They have to ignore one out in the Bay Area, but other than that, they're pretty close. I'm selling that the Hawks can afford to lose games when DeMar Carroll has 21 at halftime. That's it.
Gutierrez?
Every now and then you get a little of a breakout performance from a certain player, and this time it's Bradley Beal, who is now working on his second straight postseason where he's sort of breaking out, taking more shots, being more aggressive, and I'm buying that turns that backcourt into a great backcourt. Hawks, on the other hand, they're showing way too much rust.
Okay, but let's talk a little bit about this 36-hour turnaround. Pablo, you want to address that? I mean, this is game one, yes, and the Wizards are great on the road in game one, apparently, but quick turnaround.
It was very strange to watch the Atlanta Hawks shoot 25% in the second half of that series, right? That's the lowest of any half they've played all year. But look, the Wizards, if I'm Randy Whitman, right? 9 of 25 from three when the Wizards are shooting at least 25 threes, attempting 25 threes a game. They're 6-3 and 3-0 in the postseason. That's a big change from that sort of antediluvian NBA offense that Randy Whitman used to like running.
Bulls-Cavs starts tonight. We are operating at near split mode on the panel, which means near optimum mutage in picking the series, which I like. But many of those picks were made before LeBron said he ditched the headband to look more like his teammates. Be one with his teammates. Timmy, you want to buy or sell that first?
I'm going to buy the look. I've never been a big headband guy on anybody. Maybe Slick Watts back in the day, about 30 years ago. But some of these other headbands don't really work for me. I think it's a little bit desperation. I think the Cavaliers are going to be on the road.
America's happy to have that analysis on headbands. So what do you think is happening in this series, Tim?
I just said I think the Cavaliers are going to be on the road to this series very quickly. I think Chicago.
Drew, how about you?
I'm not even going to comment on the headband thing. I do think Chicago has a good chance of stealing one, maybe even taking both games in Cleveland. Remember, there's also no J.R. Smith for those first two games. It's going to be a lot of adjustment for the Cavs. I think Chicago takes the series.
Corey, how about you?
I am going to comment on that headband thing. If the Incredible Hulk decides to wear a shirt because he wants to look like the other Avengers, it's not really doing the job of making him look like anybody else, right? I think LeBron James, because they do have that Hulk-type figure, right? I think that guy is going to lead them within 6 over the Bulls.
Okay, and Woody, you had the Bulls blowing them out, I think is what you said last week.
Yeah, and let me help you out, Bright Eyes. That's no unification. Unification would be having the two guys that are going to miss the first two games. One of them is going to miss the rest of the season. They're not going to beat the Bulls. The Bulls are united in the United Center. Hello.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that analysis. We'll move on. Buy or sell 3. The Yankees and A-Rod. Oof. This is like picking between toenail clippings and skin tags. Israel, you buy the Yankees in that they didn't market the Willie Mays home run, number 660, so they don't have to pay the $6 million marketing bump that was agreed to? Or are you with A-Rod's team here? What do you think?
I mean, I'm with you in terms of you don't know who to pick because it's both sort of dirty options here because basically we're talking about in the contract what in good faith really stands for. Is it A-Rod who got suspended no longer acting in good faith and therefore they can do whatever they want, the Yankees can? Or are the Yankees not acting in good faith because it's a contract?
So was there an answer there, or were we just describing?
No answer.
Pablo Torre?
Should the Yankees be obligated to pay Alex Rodriguez? Absolutely. No team in baseball, I would argue, has been as complicit. I mean, Roger Clemens, Andy Pettitte, look, the list goes on and on, right? However, if the legal language says they have a right to do it and are not forced to do it, I mean, look, Yankees lawyers are probably very good at paid those sorts of contracts.
It's not about the money. It's a principle of the matter. And really, he hits his home run. They're going to put billboards all over Manhattan and New York City to market this. No, he is not a marketing factor anymore. I wouldn't pay the money. I don't think he's...
Kalisha?
Yankees are being total idiots here. Their team is playing much better than expected, leading these by 3 games. A-Rod is playing way better than expected, and he's saying all the right things. Why do they want to go back in time and drag up arguments from last year and the year before with A-Rod? Just enjoy it.
Well, if they go back in time, do they have to give back the World Series from 2009 as well? Because A-Rod is on that team.
You're not going to go that far back.
Israel Gutierrez. What's the last word?
Do I have to go?
You tell us, Israel. You've got a couple on elimination.
I want to stay. I think I want to stay.
Oh, there it
I want to stay.
There it is again.
Well,
Elimination number 2.
I think
And
it's
it's
the happening here.
again.
There has to be a rule here.
Back to back.
This cannot happen twice in like...
It just did. Gutierrez. There's something going on between Timmy and Izzy now. Paige, Torrey also in the lightning round next. And coming up, I told you once, I'm going to tell you again. No more monkeys jumping on the bed. What?
ESPN Radio, bringing you directly to the biggest events in sports.
Center field, well hit, Hunter back, out of here!
From opening day of baseball,
Throw to the plate, safe at the plate!
right through the World Series.
For the 3rd time in 5 seasons, the San Francisco Giants are the champions of the baseball world.
Whether it's LeBron, Chris Paul, or Kevin Durant, when the NBA tips off, ESPN Radio is right there when a champion is crowned.
We have a new world champion. The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
And when the magic of bowl season arrives, ESPN Radio is your home for the new college football playoff.
The college football playoff first national champion, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
The biggest events in sports can be found right here on ESPN Radio.
For the second consecutive show he's been on, Israel Gutierrez eliminated Kalisha,
Why I'm here.
only to get to lightning round 5 points behind. Let's do this.
Why do you how I roll?
All right, you guys can talk this up. Should Spurs fans care about this TMZ video? Do you care? Do you even question this video? Spurs post-playoff elimination, post-party devastation. Floor is yours, Woody.
Nothing to see here. Move along. They've won 4 championships, the big 3 for that team have. They have a right to go out and release all their pit-up emotions. This is not a team of bad
Israel, how about
characters. I don't think
The only thing they can be mad about is Tim Duncan wearing the ribbed tee inside of the club. That's the only thing you can get mad about. They're going on a party bus. They're not driving. They're not doing anything wrong. They were just
Pablo,
being
anything to see
photographed.
here?
No, nothing.
I don't think so. Look, when you're off the clock, you're off the clock. When I finished covering that fight, I was out and gone and doing my own thing.
No, you were actually online at the bathroom at Sting. We don't need to do this again. We'll move on. Lightning 2. 31 penalty minutes. Game misconduct. Souvenirs for fans after he threw some equipment. Did Brandon Pruss go too far after the game, accusing referee Brad Watson of provoking him? Or does he have beef here, Israel?
He might have beef. We're only hearing one side of the story. I'd like to hear the other side, but if any of what he's saying is true, he absolutely has beef. You can't talk to a guy like that.
Pablo, how about you? You're taking this.
I mean, look, there's evidence here potentially, right? Like, there are microphones apparently all over the ring. There are microphones on the ref himself. Look, I think there might be a little bit of the lady doctor test too much with 31 penalty minutes or whatever it is, and then this, but we can actually find out the
But
answer,
post-game,
right?
you know, you're saying a referee is provoking you during the game, Woody. Is that something the NHL has to look at?
Sure, absolutely, and I think you can find proof in evidence, Pablo. Not only the microphones, but there's a guy sitting right in the penalty box with him. Let's go interview him and find out what he heard from the two sides. I'm sure he's an honest man, but I think there's more to it than what we just are talking about now.
Here we are again, Israel. You're using elimination just to be eliminated 3 minutes later. You're staying.
I'm not a big saver. I like to spend a lot, so I spend my final elimination. See you later, Bob.
So you're running Pablo off the show. What? What are you trying to do in FaceTime? Do you have an announcement you want to make?
Is it even allowed?
Oh, that's it for Pablo. Israel
a good time now.
is now out of uneliminations for the rest of the year, which is what he won the tournament challenge, so he had these 3. He's used them all now, and he's got Woody's Cajun Showdown next. And straight ahead, the Warriors going through the Grizzlies, like Tony Allen going through a youth dance routine. Stick around. Page and Gutierrez in Showdown, and we are in it. Rory's match play win, 3 wins yesterday. Keegan versus Miguel Angel, which was more action-packed than Mayweather-Pacquiao. And Tiger and Von Splitsville. Woody, your golf headline of the weekend?
Enough about fights, enough about Rory winning. It's all about the love story that breaks up. Lindsey Vonn and Tiger Woods had helped each other.
No. We've seen Tiger Woods break up before. This was about that fight, Woody. This was about the fight. Plus, you get to say Miguel Angel Jimenez, and Keegan Bradley looked exactly like Robert Flores, and you don't mess with Robert Flores.
Point to Gutierrez. Showdown 2, the Warriors pay no minding past the Grizzlies in Game 1 yesterday, like Tony Allen, pay no minding and walking through that dance routine. What was this about Israel? Allen said he was focused and he thought the children were done. You buy that?
Of course I'm going to buy it. How could you argue with him? Look, he goes out there, he sees one dancer's going this way, the other dancer's going the other way. What do you want from me? I mean, come on, Tony Allen, how do you blame him?
Of course I'm not buying it. He knew they were out there. He was auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. You don't interrupt the kids. You're out there having a
Israel, you know me so well on 2 fronts. You know, more than anything, I was going to run you at a showdown just because you wanted to get it so bad at FaceTime. But you went with the good fellas. It's unbeatable. FaceTime.
I don't even know if I really wanted it that badly, but now that I have it, allow me to go the other route. You know, Jamie Foxx was getting a lot of criticism for his national anthem before that fight. I got to give this guy credit because not only did he drop a hallelujah, he dropped another 3/4 of a hallelujah at the very end of that. And you have to be very cool to pull off hallelujahs. In fact, we were calling him Randy Watson where I'm from. So that was fantastic. You have to be really cool, like I said, to be able to pull that off. Because not anybody can just go, hallelujah, hallelujah. See, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Only works for Jamie Foxx. Ciao.
So that's what you use 2 eliminations for? That's going to do it, folks. Thanks for coming around on a 23.5-hour break. We'll see you tomorrow. Israel, I'm glad you won.
2 of baseball's best go head-to-head in interleague action when the Tigers head to St. Louis to face the Cardinals. That one is gone. The pregame at 7 Eastern, first pitch at 8, Sunday on ESPN and ESPN Radio.